Thank you so much for joining me on Unfiltered with Nay. Today we have a special guest. Introduce yourself for everybody.
Lajanae, and yes, the lie is absolutely necessary. I am a journalist, author. Many people know me for my commentary about shows, especially on Facebook, or you may know me from the Shade Room, breaking some of the biggest stories these past 3 years. So yeah.
You have too. You have been breaking the biggest stories. Every time I see TSR exclusive, I'm like, this girl gets so many exclusives.
I do. I had the most exclusives on the team last year. So
yes, girl, almost every exclusive. I'm like,
you.
Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah. Listen, it's good to know people, and it's good to be good to people. You know, where they can give you information and they trust you and whatnot. So I'm definitely thankful for that. Shout out to all my contacts.
So, of course, the first question, we already know what you do, but where are you from and how did you get started in this entertainment industry?
I'm from Moss Point, Mississippi, the Gulf Coast of Mississippi, the blackest city on the Gulf Coast. How did I get started? I've always been a kid that was talking, got moved to the front of the class because I was talking too much. Being in that realm has always just been a part of my life. Honestly, when I graduated from the Jackson State University with my degree in mass communications, I am a degreed certified journalist. Okay.
Right.
I actually went into ad sales first, started a blog from talking about Real Housewives of Atlanta every Monday morning with my coworkers, Tanya and Terry. Shout out to them. Hope they're doing okay. They were always like, "Ooh, Lajanae, you need to start a blog. You need to start a blog. You need to start a blog." And I was like, "What?" And I was like, "Oh my God, no, girl. Like, I'm not doing that." Because, like people, it's different when people say crazy stuff about you and you reading it versus you reading it and they can see your face at the time. So I was like, hell no, I'm not doing that. So I started a blog, icanrepeat.com. At first I was just posting all type of content and posting the links on everybody's page, which is totally not a marketing tactic. Don't do that these days. Long story short, I listened to my audience. They told me that they wanted more entertainment news. Did that. I was in Florida at that time, moved to Atlanta. One of my coworkers at the ad agency that we worked at invited me to an event, and it's really been on ever since. Everything, in Atlanta, you go to one event, you've been to them all, honestly. And Atlanta is so welcoming, and just working my way up. And so that's history.
Okay. What would you say jump-started your career in the author field and entertainment field? Like, what got you the TSR job, or what was like your highest job?
It was so many small moments that led up to where I'm at now. Mm-hmm. It wasn't just one thing, right? It's really the sum of small things that turned into like this big opportunity. For me, my transition went from literally logging every day while I was at my corporate job. I would literally blog from like 9 to 1.
Right. You really
time,
right.
I was doing the work I was actually paid to do. But I always did my work, but at that time I was so tunnel vision focused. It was so important to me that even when I got off work, I was still trying to change the layout of my page, research.
Right, because that's your baby. That's
my baby. Yeah, right. I was sending emails to people. I was like, can I interview Kay Michelle? Can I interview Yoga?
Right.
Can I interview these people? And these publicists were not really paying me any attention at the time because they didn't know who I was, but it didn't matter. You're going to see me eventually, right? And so I just stayed focused. And at work, I would literally split my day in half after lunches when I gave them other people whatever hours. Because it didn't take me 8 hours to do my job. Maybe 4.5, and I'm really done for the day, honestly. So it wasn't one moment. It was just tenacity that got me able to be where I'm at. Like I started out doing a blog, then I started out working for the Atlanta Voice, and I flew across the country and I covered Soul Train Awards, BET Hip Hop Awards, and even in Atlanta, I covered all of the major entertainment events. And so I think right there, I will say that was a sweet spot for me because I went from being behind the computer to on camera.
Right.
Atlanta is so welcoming. Anybody shows up with a camera, they're gonna let you in. It's not so closed off like LA, and I tell people all the time, Atlanta is really, 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 really good to break into the industry because LA, to me, LA is where you go after you've made those connects, after you put some skin in the game and whatnot. But I was able to transition from, like I say, from behind the computer to in front of a camera. It was really hard for people like me who were still coming up in the eyes of a lot of people. My friends, thank God, and I'm not even friends with some of those people, but would saw the vision and would literally help me out. So I would get flew out to different places, and how I made my money was obviously I made money from the story, but I would get drops for multiple outlets. So yes, I'm here to get the story for the Atlanta Voice, but at the same time, I can also get drops because I didn't have
for my own page, for my own business.
Yeah, and so like I didn't have a non-compete or nothing like that. So, and I was a freelancer. So I would be getting drops from people, and I would sell them to other publications. So like before, I'd be like, hey y'all, I'm going to Soul Train Awards. If anybody want to drop, let me know. It'll be, I don't know, $100 for 4 drops or $25 per drop. And so that's how I was able to make some of my money. I also give behind the scenes details. Like it's so much you can do. I had to.
Right, because you were actually like there.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, so like the Hip Hop Awards, the BC Hip Hop Awards, it wasn't, it's pre-filmed. It's not live, right? So sometimes I was able to say, like even when Cardi won her award that year, I was like, oh my God, it was such a good show. She looked good. She was well Offset. This time I don't think people realized how serious they were. And so I was like, she attended the show with Offset and did this and that. Like I never had anything salacious to report, but the fact that it was just details of the show. So-and-so looked nice. So-and-so came with XYZ. So if we thought they were dating, yeah, they are really dating because they on the together. So I think back to your question 100 minutes later, I was able to recognize, and I also had somebody to teach me that if you have an award show, it's so much money in that one show. The award shows are surrounded by a week of events. You got the red carpet, and then you got what actually happens during the actual show. And when Marshall Lattimore, God rest his soul, he was my mentor, and he brought me on from the Atlanta, with the Atlanta Voice, and also Jay Nash. So the thing, how I even got the opportunity was Girl Power Radio. Jay Nash had the Girl Power Radio platform, and she ended up working at the Atlanta Voice. And so what she did, thankfully, was reach back out and was like, hey, I have an opportunity. If y'all want to do XYZ, please send in your information. And I'm so glad that the things that I did on my own carry so much weight.
Right.
So I probably wasn't able to get the interview with Yo Gotti like I wanted to, right? Because I really did email his publicist at the time. It's so crazy. In 2012, and I didn't get the interview, but my work still got me somewhere. It got me on red carpets. It got me on I'm on Real Housewives of Atlanta, my voice. So you can actually see me, but my voice too. And that's because I was covering an event for the Atlanta Voice. So it's just a lot of small things, but also being able to recognize and having people to teach me to recognize that I can monetize these situations and I can make myself more of a resource to different people.
During those times when you were coming up, were you getting paid a lot from each thing, or were you doing some stuff for free? Because some people start off in the game automatically getting paid, like you said, selling drops or doing their own thing. And then some people, they're just there for the experience, like internships or just volunteering.
For me, the only thing that I was doing free was for my own I Can Repeat It. Everything else I was getting paid. It wasn't a lot. No, it wasn't a lot. But I was getting paid for what I was doing. So I thank God. My problem was never really not getting paid. Right. It was getting paid a substantial amount. This was during a time to where I quit corporate. like 3 years after I had got to Atlanta, and I ended up getting evicted. My car messed up, and me and my dog literally went to stay with my friend. Well, my friend actually came and got us out of a hotel, honestly. I didn't even ask her. Shout out to Jay. I didn't even ask her. She literally found that I was in a hotel and she picked me up, me and my dog, and I slept on her couch I slept on her couch in 2 different periods of my life. With all of that, you know, I was struggling with, you know, I don't feel pretty on this red carpet. All of these girls got the makeup on,
right?
And I got all these sponsorships and stuff like that. Now, I did get sponsorships sometimes, like with makeup, but that's like when I was going to the award show. But as far as sponsorships in Atlanta, helping me look good, dressing, no, right. I would really go to work, get off at 5 o'clock, sit in all this damn traffic, be at an event that starts at 7 in Atlanta, and get home around 12 o'clock, and sometimes wake up and do it all over again. Going through in the midst of trying to make some money because I wasn't getting paid a lot.
But now being in the industry, do you feel like people use you for your money or to get in higher positions because of where you're at?
People don't have the opportunity to use me. I don't let them use me. I do recognize that I have, you know, like many of other people in the industry, I've had people that cling to me because, for example, okay, like, you know, I have my persona, then I have my personality. Right. People often use those interchangeably, but they're not the same. I love to be home at this point in my life. I'm a homebody. Like, I really am a homebody.
Me too.
I just really love being home. And one reason is because for so long I had to stay with people when I was going through my thing. And, you know, no matter how kind people may be when you are staying with them, because let's be clear, like, my friend never charged me any rent, never asked me for nothing. I say with my aunties too, like, nobody ever asked me for anything, right? So that's a blessing. Even with that though, you still feel uncomfortable because you're not contributing.
You feel like a burden because you're like a burden
in their space. And so now, like, I love to be home. And I think sometimes when people meet me in person, they still think that, like it's me, all of the different versions of me, but I don't rest in my persona. My personality is, I'm fire, like, right? Because I am a Leo, I am a fire sign. Okay. But I guess what I'm trying to say is I have duality. And a lot of people I have experienced, or even friends, for some reason, because I do what I do, when we hang out, they think we are hanging out with celebrities. And they get so disappointed. I mean, this is in the past. I don't have any friends like that now. I remember, like, I literally stopped being friends with somebody because they literally thought that when they came to visit, it was going to be LA experience in lingerie with celebrities.
You probably never even said that.
We had a whole itinerary and no itinerary. You know what I'm saying? So I get it, but I don't let people use me. I'm very clear on my boundaries. And, you know, I think once I realized what my standards were, it was easy for me to create boundaries. You can't create boundaries without any standards. So, yeah.
Speaking of having that look and being on the red carpet, did you ever feel like you had to change your look or like fit in with the other girls to be accepted in the industry?
No. One thing about me, I'm very confident in who I am. I've always been a big girl. I come from the South. I'm from Mississippi, and big women are adored in the South, especially Mississippi, the big hair, all of that. But at that time, I just rocked the fro. It was just black, and it was just like this big ass, black ass fro. And my whole thing is like, I wanted like a new wardrobe. I wanted to be able to afford to get my makeup done all the time, to afford to get my nails and stuff done all the time. But I couldn't. But I never wanted to change myself. I just needed more fucking money. That's it.
I feel like the industry does get to me. It's like sometimes I can admit to, like, because we're always staring at like these girls and staring at them being posted. And like you said, at the events, looking at the girls in the heels and stuff. And it's just like, then you start looking at yourself like, dang, am I not the part?
Well, and like for me, it was more so, I've always felt fabulous. Like I ain't never had low self-esteem, nothing like that. I don't even know what that means, you know, like whatever. You know, so for me, it was wanting my outer appearance to match my inner appearance. I mean, my inner feeling. As far as other bitches, they couldn't step to me. I was doing so much more with less. I had a phone at one time, literally a phone recording people. I didn't have no damn camera. I didn't get a camera. I didn't even get, God blessed me with Erica, who had the camera, had the microphone, who was the producer for me, you know, who edited videos and stuff like that. So as far as that is concerned, absolutely not. If anybody right now in the industry feeling like they don't have a lot of money, I completely get it. If you know you the shit, then just be the shit though. You might not have like a lot of equipment, but you got a lot of talent, you got a lot of tenacity. And that's when them hoes go home and take off them wigs and them that makeup and them eyelashes and shit, they ain't even got the job done standing around being too pretty. Whatever lane you are in, don't let it stop you. You know what I'm saying? I remember many a days where I was like, damn, time, like, damn, I just wish I had something a little bit more sexy. I promise you, if you maximize the things that you have, keyword maximize what you have, you will get what you need and what you want. And that's honestly what I fucking did. And then God sent me, you know, the opportunity from the Atlanta Voice. God sent me Erica to film and have the microphone and have the lights. And God sent me a community of people who had what I didn't have in order for me to get to where I needed to go.
How is it for self-published authors and journalists once they are well known and they start to sell and their name gets credited? And can you tell us some of the steps you took becoming a self-published author and journalist?
You know what? My books are about heartbreak. You know, one thing that I have that no one can ever use against me is I'm very authentic. I'm myself. A bitch can never spray me with my own teeth. I control my own narrative. So you ain't gonna never be able to read me because I don't understand everything. You know what I'm saying? So that helps with being a self-published author, because for me, in my genre, I told stories about heartbreak, African-American love, whatever, heartbreak. You know, my last book is a Kindle Amazon bestseller, Girl, Keep Going. Healing is now in session. It's actually on Kindle Amazon now.
Come on.
It's a self-help book. I went through a tumultuous, terrible ass, heart-wrenching ass relationship, abusive ass fucking relationship, manipulative ass relationship in 2018 through 2019. And that book really was, that was my first real adult relationship that didn't work out. And so I treated it like my baby. So the steps that I did was, I used literally what I had, which is my writing, my voice. I wrote the book. I worked with my clarity coach, Jarisa, who was actually my creative director on the project. She helped me streamline my thoughts in order to articulate it. I just reached out. You know, I believe in networking across. I didn't try to go to no big ass graphic designer or anything like that, or a big ass web designer. I really connected to my Facebook community. And those are the steps that I took. Honestly, anybody can become a self-published author. My books are like, this last book is a self-help book. So it's like 30 minutes long, if that. My whole thing is, if I'm gonna tell my business, you're gonna pay me for my pain. You're gonna pay me for my pain, bitch. So before I get on here and do a whole
thing, start selling everything and all,
we're gonna have a whole, I put out a campaign. I did a full campaign for my book, because I think as creatives, we have to recognize, I'm not saying you have to monetize everything. Sometimes you may not feel like it. Completely get that.
But you should maximize the opportunity.
You should maximize, yeah. So for me, I knew I had to give a gab. I knew people were already following my page. When I started sharing my story of just about my journey of quitting, and like I quit when I was on live. Like I you know, I recorded that just so people know my process. I did just clarify, I gave my notice. I didn't just wake up and quit. I gave my notice, but people saw me walking out and saying bye to my coworkers and stuff like that. That's when people started understanding me more, not just the blog. I put people
they're relating to you.
Yes, I put people in my business, and so that was a game changer for me. So now I got these books, and I'm Now you invested. Like most of the people honestly really don't care, right? but they care enough to talk about it. So if you're gonna talk about it, say I'm dumb, I'm this, I'm that, or oh, it's this bitch again on Facebook crime, which I don't think I was that pathetic because I was, at least you're gonna pay me for it. So those are the steps. I recognized the power that I had, and I just went. As far as journalism is concerned, I can do so many things in media. I do advertising, I do marketing, I can write ad copy, account management, digital marketing, social media management. Like, I can do so much. And honestly, when I got this opportunity to work at the Shade Room, I didn't even know that the job was for the Shade Room when I initially responded. And the opportunity was posted in a Facebook professional group. And my recruiter, Marche, I spoke with her a few times, well, maybe like 2 times before I even realized it's for the Shade Room. And all I gave the Shade Room, an EPK, was basically a running press kit, a resume with pictures, to be honest. I gave them that. And that represented things that I did on my own. Let me tell you something. Success has so many different levels, so many different ranges. You can even be successful before people even know who you are.
Has there ever been a time where you reported on something and it was just like a oh my gosh moment? Like somebody didn't like what you reported, somebody wanted to clap back?
You know, working where I work, people always have something to say. You know, I've had stories that I reported that I didn't even, that I was like, oh my God, I had to write about that. Like the Latoya Luckett exclusive. About her husband cheating on her. That was my exclusive. I broke that story. She was pregnant at the time, right? But at the same time, I'm still also doing my job. I do think though, even when doing your job, there's a way to cushion it so the blow may not be so hard. So yes, I've had, you know, just working where I work, you have people who love us, people who don't love us. We are a media company. You know, it started out as just a page, a gossip page, and it's grown to a media company. Especially in this day and age, people don't even understand journalism anymore because there's so many people that even when you do stumble across a real journalist like Tamron Hall, they talking about she being mean to people. The woman just literally just asking you questions.
Right.
So yeah, so yes, you know, have I published stories? Yeah, I have. Do I receive backlash? Sometimes. People have been in my DMs. People have literally photoshopped things and sent them to celebrities. And I've had celebrities who DM me, and I'm like,
I don't know you, right?
I don't even, literally, no lie, I'm not gonna say his name, a rapper DM'd me because someone DM'd him a message from me, had my face and everything, and it was about like some mess he was about, and I was like, you're not even on my radar.
Right. And that's crazy. People Photoshop that.
This was my first year working at the Shade Room. I said, what the fuck is this? You know, so I obviously took the right, you know, the protocols. But yeah, so, but it don't bother me though, because I'm not doing anything that goes against my ethics, my integrity, my journalistic, integrity.
Is there any project or person that you would want to work with in the future?
Oh yes, I want to interview K. Michelle.
Yes, I love K. Michelle.
Me too. I feel like she has a story untold. I honestly think she gets a lot of flack because she's dark skinned. I think people always try to talk about her attitude, but to me, she doesn't act any different than what these other people act that are now like doing a thing or whatever. Ultimately, you know, my goal is just to have my own talk show. It doesn't have to be like a traditional show, but that's ultimately my goal. I would love to even work with Diddy. I don't necessarily like have like so many people that I want to work with. I just have different positions that I want to hold within this entertainment realm. Like, I am a cultural journalist. I really break stories, and I want people to know that. I want people to know me for that. To know that when you see a story from Lajanae that has been vetted, that I do have the proper sources that have given me this information. And I'm so glad that I have not made my job my personality.
How do you feel about other pages or people stealing your exclusives? Because, you know, I just thought about that when you said that, and that happens in the journalistic world. People will copy and paste your story or edit your whole caption and steal it.
You kind of chuckle, you know, like, oh, like I broke this story. You really didn't want to give me credit for that, you know what I'm saying? But I really honestly don't even try to focus on that, because let me tell you something. Timestamps don't lie. The truth is what the truth is. If I broke the story 5 hours before you, then that's just what it is. If I broke it 1 minute before you, then that's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? I think I get a lot of satisfaction and gratification when you like, just my Hurricane Chris exclusive, when he was found not guilty and he gave us an exclusive statement, the AP News referenced that. You know what I'm saying? That's the holy grail of journalism. When you think about journalism rules, that's where you're going, it's AP style, basically, right? The right people will credit me though. Do I get a little annoyed? Every time, damn, I'm a Leo. So a lot of times I be flattered. I really be flattered. I be like, it literally kills you to just say you found the story on the Shade Room.
Right. They don't want to though. They don't want to.
Because I be reading something and I be like, I broke this story, but you said you got it from TMZ. No, you didn't. TMZ got it from me. So what are you saying? Please let me know.
Right.
Or even at one point in time, like when I broke the story about Meg's former bodyguard going missing before his testimony, there were a few publications that were like, basically trying, first of all, when I say went missing, I wasn't saying like there was a missing persons report. And this is where like the nuance of being Black comes into effect. If I say they went missing, you probably be like, oh, they just didn't show up. One publication, I'm not gonna say the name specifically, that was like, oh, we contacted so-and-so and they don't have a missing report and blah, blah. I know that.
But you didn't put that.
They had a missing report. I said he went missing. You know what I'm saying? And so I kind of find it funny that sometimes when you do have those type of publications who, in our essence, I guess they are doing their due diligence, right? But it's so funny when you have to come, because a day later, they literally had to come right back around and oh, he can't be found. I'll tell you
right, that's what we was already saying.
You know. So I get a little gratification from that, because I'm like, I already told you that, but it's cool. So I always clap for myself. I'm my biggest supporter, my biggest cheerleader. I got a big body, a big spirit, big booty, big head, I'm big.
Big exclusives.
Big exclusive, you know what I'm saying? No matter what, I'm always gonna be a part of history. Y'all see me out here. I know y'all know who I am.
Right. What advice would you give people who want to get started in industry or who want to get started into writing and being an author? What should they expect in the startup process as they make their way into the game?
I always use this analogy. Sometimes when I'm getting dressed, I'm never fully dressed when I walk out the door. I might need to put my earrings on. Back when I used to wear wrap, I would comb my hair down in the car and all type of stuff. Sometimes you have to get dressed as you go. So you may not have everything you need. Like right now, there are still some things that I actually have tangible things that I need, but I literally just had an idea earlier today. It was like, oh, I can do this in the meantime, right? And so start with what you have, maximize what you have. That's my message for today. Just maximize what you have. I know that the social media world is big and a lot of people don't have actual websites. You need to have a YouTube channel. If you don't want to talk though, at least have a website that holds your articles, that house your articles for you. Because Instagram goes down, Twitter goes down, they trying to ban TikTok. Like, you need some type of ownership. Now, even though WordPress, it's not yours, the chances of WordPress packing up saying, oh, we're not doing this,
right.
The probability is that it's like 1 in a million, right? And it's not going to happen. So you need somewhere for your stuff to live outside of social media. What can you expect? I just think if you haven't made up in your mind that you can do it, you can do it. Listen, I don't have like no magic wand, like no piece of advice. Honestly, last year I was gonna give up journalism. I was gonna give up journalism and go straight to law school. I was gonna go to law school. But I had some things to happen for me in my career that made me be like, oh, wait a minute, that would be my advice. You know what I'm saying? Shit, do it. Just do it, Mikey.
Well, thank you again so much. Before we get out of here, can you give everybody your platforms? Tell everybody what's new, what can we expect, and where we can find you?
like I said, I'm LaJanae. You can find me on Instagram at _LAJAN as in Nancy, E as in Eric, E as in Eric _ or my website at lajanae.com. And right now I have the Up Next series where I highlight entrepreneurs, other business owners, influencers, and whatnot. You can catch that from May. I think my last scheduled interview is like September. So from May to September, if you go to lajanae.com, you can catch entrepreneurs just doing their damn thing. Yeah, I think that's it.
Yes. Well, thank you so much. You dropped so many